I'm Eric.
And I'm Jamie.
And this is Horrorscope, a podcast for people who love horror movies.
And people who want to love them. You want to tell me? What happened?
I had a bad bad today that has disrupted my entire personality.
Wow.
Because it's tied to my favorite movie, RoboCop. But Jamie, if all cops are bastards, does that mean RoboCop is a bastard?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh my god.
You can't even ask, yeah.
I know, right?
Including Paw Patrol. All cop dogs that you want to pet, they're bastards.
Yeah, no, that's fine. There's a day, because I work with social media stuff, and it's just been so fucking insane seeing what's trending, and it's never for the reasons. You see, Paw Patrol is trending.
Yeah.
And it's he's become the savior of the alt-right of this is where we're gonna die. This is our new Minion meme because he's a cop. But now this movie with the super cop in it is the big. Was
it trending? I actually did see that trending the other day. Was that why?
RoboCop was trending?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Eric and I are both social media managers. We don't just sit on Twitter and look at trends, by the way.
Yeah.
It'd be really lame.
It's even better. We do it and we get paid for it.
I guess that's true.
I think RoboCop has it's all satire and it's all commentary.
I've never seen it, so I can't.
Yeah, but it's just at the core, RoboCop is a bastard.
Yeah.
He's Robo Bastard.
Is he supposed to be a good guy?
Yeah, he's Jesus. He's Robo Jesus.
Whoa.
It's a Jesus allegory.
Jesus is a bastard.
Yeah, but it's also made by a foreigner.
Jesus technically is the ultimate bastard.
He
doesn't have a dad.
It's true.
His dad's God.
God, now I'm just imagining him as Jon Snow.
No more Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I allowed it for a 15-minute segment.
That joke would have hit Jamie 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That joke would have fucking landed. Oh my god. This podcast would blow up because of my Jon Snow reference.
I think this would be a very different podcast if we were doing it 5 years ago.
Who were we even back then, you know?
We were whittle.
Who would we even be in 1978 when the hit movie Halloween came out, Jamie?
I kept forgetting what we were watching today. I was like, is it Friday the 13th? Halloween? They blend together in my mind completely.
Be truthful with me. How excited... This feels like the least amped you have been for a movie.
Ooh. Ouch. I am not amped. I don't want to watch this movie. That was a good read on me.
I kept on pitching it, and you're like, yeah, but what about The Exorcist?
I just don't want to watch it.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know if slashers are really my thing.
Nah.
Unless the slasher is really interesting. And this just seems like a dude. I don't know. I'm not... I know. And I was... Because this is one of your favorite movies, right? Or it's Friday the 13th is one of your favorite movies.
No.
Neither.
So it's the big three. There's
okay.
Freddy, Jason, and Michael.
Derulo.
Michael Myers is Halloween.
Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo is from Cats.
Bummer.
My favorite horror movie.
And TikTok.
And that stair fall.
What?
Do you ever see where it's Jason Derulo falls down the stairs?
No.
God,
okay, we'll link it in the
show
notes.
Show notes, the first thing. Jason
We'll
Derulo falling down the stairs.
Notes.
And then Nightmare on Elm Street, which Freddy's my favorite.
Okay. Alright, so this one is Jason.
No, this is...
Fuck! No, wait, okay, Freddy is Nightmare on Elm Street, you literally just said that.
Yes.
Friday the 13th, I guess, has to be Jason.
Yeah.
This is Mike Myers?
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Mike Myers is a 90s comedian.
I'm getting too familiar. Oh, you're right.
It is played by Mike Myers, and he takes off his mask at the end. He's like, donkey! And that's when Jamie Lee Curtis screams.
I am most interested in this movie to see young Jamie Lee Curtis because, one, I know... No, I won't roast you. No, go for it, Jamie. Please, roast me. Eric is a Jamie Lee Curtis man.
Jamie Lee Curtis man. A Jamie Lee Curtis stand. Thank you.
That's fair. This is... What is it? Halloween. I forgot what it was called already. What? I'm sorry.
The amount of disinterest.
How is anyone supposed to be interested in this episode if I'm like, look, okay, John Carpenter. Okay. I'm just tired of life. I
get it.
It's not the movies. How can we follow Truth or Dare?
We should have ended the podcast there.
We should have. I am excited to see. So before I was gonna say the Jamie Lee Curtis bit, I've only seen her in Freaky Friday, and she's great in Freaky Friday. Yeah. I love that movie.
Yes,
so
she's great in everything.
Yeah, I must stand because of the picture of her drinking water angrily. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, where she puts up her finger.
Yes,
she's like,
that's
wait,
the Jamie energy. I don't normally like other Jamies, but I really like her.
She is your spirit Jamie.
I'm my spirit Jamie. Come on.
Oh shit! All right.
she's all right. I'm sure everyone feels like this with their name, but I really have rarely met another Jamie that I vibe with. So, the vibing is low.
I don't know any good Erics.
Do you know any other Erics?
I choose not to.
See, there you go.
They all suck, that's why. Sorry, our Eric listener population.
Sorry, our Jamie listeners, I guess. Okay.
Just get a different name. Be original. Jeez.
Look, what if I love this movie? Maybe I'll love it.
That's... Jamie...
I
can't clock you anymore. Yeah, I don't know anymore what you like and
not like. Bitches! Cut the brakes! You're never gonna know.
There's like a chance you'll love this movie.
Yeah.
I just want to find you the next Alien. And this is kind of similar to Alien, where it's like a very simplistic name.
Okay.
It was made a year before Alien.
I thought you were gonna say a very simplistic concept.
No, just a name.
Said name.
It's just Halloween. Alien.
Yeah.
And they both had because we could have had Star Beast and the Babysitter Murders, which is the original name for this.
Oh my god. I thought okay, so Scream is riffing off of this movie. Right?
Yes.
Ish. Scream is riffing off of everything.
Scream's ripping off of everything. It uses Halloween as the main template because Halloween is the main. It's the test pressing. It's like what's it called? The main, it's slasher prime. Pretty much.
I see. Okay.
So it's like
Okay.
Which we'll get into.
Okay. All right. Let me read the wiki. Yes. Let me read the wiki.
I was gonna ask your thoughts on slashers, but we've already
My
covered
thoughts
that.
on slashers is that I don't like them that much. I think everything we've watched so far is a supernatural horror film because I'm looking at the category. This is a slasher film, but this is like the first one that Wikipedia
has not put supernatural in.
Yeah. Besides Alien. I don't know. What else have we watched that feels like a slasher? Nothing.
Alien.
Besides Alien, yeah. That's it though, right?
I guess Truth or Dare.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's just like a possession. I'm very curious to see what the audio sounds like for that. Cause
No. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I don't have a bad attitude. Let's see how this goes.
Just warm up with like a nice cold cup of Halloween.
Wouldn't it be a warm cup?
Shit, like a nice warm cup of Halloween.
Halloween is a 1978 American slasher film directed and scored by John Carpenter, co-written with producer Debra Hill. Okay, and starring Donald Pleasance.
What? I said it so weird.
Pleasance.
He was Donald Pleasance.
How do you say it?
Donald Pleasance.
It's spelled so weird.
It's just Donald Pleasance.
It's spelled very weird.
We'll go with Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis in her film debut. Mm-hmm. The plot tells about a mental... Oh, spoilers?
Nah.
I'm reading them. Spoilers. Ooh. Oh no. Should I read it? I've only read like 3 words.
How spoilery is it?
Well, I don't know. You read it. Okay, Eric's going to read the wiki.
Okay.
Hang on.
Where were you?
Top.
Oh, there we go.
Right up top.
Oh, no, it's just like the plot of the movie. I don't know if you want the plot.
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, perfect. Then don't read it.
Okay.
Yeah, just stop reading. Close the laptop.
Is there anything notable? Oh, well, you'll tell me the trivia, I guess. Does the wiki give us any good juicy bits?
It goes into that made a shit ton of money, which we'll go over.
Okay. Yeah, you got this. All right.
Yeah.
Here,
yeah.
Close it out so I don't see it. I don't know anything about this.
All right. So we had to, for the first time ever, stop reading the wiki because Jamie couldn't decipher this from any other slasher movie. So she's going into it completely dark.
I'm going in it. Yeah.
I will try to then completely avoid talking about any sort of details that pertain to the movie's like story, but I can still give you some sort of context for like where this movie stands.
Yeah.
before and kind of after it comes out.
That sounds good.
So you said, oh, when you saw John Carpenter's name.
Yes.
So you know who John Carpenter is.
Yes, we've talked about him quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because he made The Thing, which I am scared to watch, but want to watch.
Ooh, okay.
But that's going to be, like, way down the road.
My friend was like, he's like, have you guys watched The Thing yet? I'm like, no. Like, what? No. And he's like, why not? Like, that movie's so good. I'm like, think about, like, our friend Jaime and that movie. Like, what about that movie appeals to Jaime? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, there's like a severe dog, like, thing in it. And he's just like, oh, and that's the thing? Like, that's worse than getting killed by humans? I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, for some reason, it just is. And he, like, couldn't, like, register the fact that, like, a dog death is worse than a human death, which
that's really funny.
Is weird. I hadn't encountered that.
But also, I do want to watch it.
Made me proud of this podcast because I have a good Jaime radar, apparently.
You've always had it.
Because some people are just like, I like this thing, so therefore you must
good.
like it. Yeah. And that's just not the case.
Correct. But I am very intrigued by it. I think if we watch Annihilation, then that can be like our intro to it, because I know there's like similar... What?
Yeah.
What?
No,
are you
just,
impressed?
It's just Annihilation's a lot, too.
I really want to watch Annihilation.
Hell yeah.
But he was involved in Alien, right? Somehow?
He did Dark Star.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Which was the movie he did with Dan O'Bannon.
I just know I feel like he's good. I feel like his stuff is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorite directors.
Oh my god, please do not tell me anything problematic about him.
No, Jaime. We did it.
Really?
I looked it up.
Yay!
I typed in John Carpenter problematic and nothing popped up. If anything, some like positive stuff, because
I like this movie now and I'm excited again. Woo!
John Carpenter, I think he was born in California.
Okay.
And then he moved to Kentucky. His dad was like an art music professor.
Okay.
And when he moved to Kentucky, he then like was like kind of like just like brought on the southern racism of the time of his upbringing.
Yeesh.
And like that he specifically talks about how like that showed him the evil within humans.
Whoa, shit.
Like he was like horrified, like because he had like friends and like a girlfriend whose like dad like killed a black person.
Oh my god.
And was just like so foreign to this, and he lived in a log cabin outside of the town a little bit. Like just setting this guy up to be some sort of cool filmmaker.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it could have gone one way or the other way.
Thankfully, he saw it and was like, "No, this is bad. I don't
That's
like
amazing.
this."
Oh my god, I'm actually really excited. Phew.
And then fled back to LA to go to film school and was
fled back to LA in the dead of night. I imagine him with like a little, like a stick and like a handkerchief, like a little, you know what I mean?
Little cowboy hat, yeah, hops onto the train.
No, he like ties his like handkerchief of his like book around his shoulder like a hobo. I don't know what the book is, but it could
be his like camera, his camcorder.
Yeah.
I love that. Draw it.
I will.
So he goes to film school and he's like the cool cowboy guy because he's from Kentucky now, according to them. Okay. And then he meets Dan O'Bannon, and they make Dark Star. He meets a few other people. He becomes friends with Nick Castle, who plays the Shape in this movie and became a director in his own right.
Is the who?
The killer in this movie. Sorry.
The Shape.
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers is gone by the name The Shape. I honestly did not find this out until like a few years ago when the.
But then how do I know his name is Michael Myers?
So no, they say Michael Myers in the movie. They never call him The Shape.
But who calls it? The script calls him The Shape? Oh, okay.
And like I never heard anybody refer to him as The Shape. It's always been Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Or like the Boogeyman, because they call him the Boogeyman in the movie.
Oh.
But then the remake was coming out, and they're like, oh yeah, he's like reprising his role as The Shape. I was like, wait.
What? I like that better.
It's cool.
I feel like it's like existentially weird.
That's The
Shape.
This movie has
all right, I'm back on board.
Yeah,
we're back on track.
So John Carpenter, good guy. He's just a grumpy old man now.
Love that.
He uses the word himself to say grumpy. He's just making soundtrack scores to no movies with his sons.
That sounds great.
He sounds like a great guy. Yeah, living his life.
You were okay. So I requested like a lady filmmaker. Is that Debra? That's Debra Hill.
So Debra Hill was his girlfriend at the time. They met when they were making Assault on Precinct 13, which was his movie right before this.
Okay.
Which was like I guess for the time, modern cowboy-esque movie.
Okay. It sounds dangerously pro-cop.
Yeah.
All right, it's fine.
It's like, you know, the sheriff is like locked up with the criminal and they become friends because there's other criminals trying to break in to save their own gang leader.
Okay.
And so they're like camaraderie, and like the secretary joins in and they're all like
so maybe I don't know. we'll let that one slide.
This movie also has cops, but they are pretty much borderline useless. Like they are in most horror movies.
And
everywhere else. So Debra Hill, which is actually the next point I was done bringing up, was his girlfriend at the time, and she was she was a producer on some other things.
Okay.
And then she came on board with this movie, and she played a huge role in this. She was the co-writer on it. She kind of like helped navigate, because this movie, which other slashers then take off of, a group of female friends.
What was that? AC?
A plane's coming right for us.
No.
I don't know what that is. It sounds like somebody's using a machine.
Okay. Oh, I forget there are other people around here.
We're not the last two people on Earth, unfortunately.
I forget this is like connected to stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And by stuff, I mean other people's houses.
I forget it sometimes. I forget I live with somebody sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was a producer, co-wrote this. She was the one who kind of like told John Carpenter to hire Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay.
There's a really cute story that I like where Jamie Lee Curtis said after the first day of filming, she like went home and she thought she did a bad job and she was like freaking out. And there's like, it happens where like actors get fired off the first day because they're not working out.
Yeah.
And then John Carpenter called her and was like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, like you did really good today." And like, really
that's nice. Oh.
But it was Debra Hill who told him to call her.
Oh, Deborah's like, "You better fucking call her." How old is she in this movie?
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah.
19.
She was 19 and her character's 19 as well, or?
I think her character's like, because I think they're senior.
Okay,
they're 17,
she's like
18.
17, 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then,
but she was really little.
Yes. She comes from...
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee...
It's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Don't say that during the entire movie. Oh, Will, Jamie Lee Curtis. The ship gonna get you.
It's not patronizing. We love her. We stand.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Jamie.
I pro her.
But yeah, and then after this, Debra Hill and him were dating, but then they broke up during the filming of this.
Oof, rough breakup movie.
But I think they must have been fine because they produced Halloween 2 together, and then she produced several other of his movies, and then went on to produce. She produced Clue. That was one of her movies.
Yeah. Was he? Oh no, but he wasn't involved.
He's not. That's just she went off.
She produced it. It's a good movie.
Yeah. And he went off and married actress Adrienne Barbeau. I think that's her name.
Okay.
And she was Adrienne Barbeau, Debra Hill, and John Carpenter worked on The Fog together. So I'm assuming it, because this was after they broke up and he was with Adrienne. So I'm assuming they're all like on good terms. So it didn't seem like a shitty thing. It seemed like a very kind of
good. Well, I mean,
because that's where I thought. I thought that's where it was going to be like.
Oh no.
He cheated on her and broke up with her, and didn't seem like that was the case.
Okay, good.
This.
Do we want to close the door? I think it's gonna.
Okay.
The rain showed up in The Exorcist, so it's probably gonna show up here. I won't be able to tell, but okay, cool. So I'm glad that it wasn't shitty.
Yeah. So this is actually, I think, my favorite movie that I've done research on.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
And I say that just because it's everything you want to hear about, especially like everyone's like first movies. Mm-hmm. Like it was just like everyone on set was young. They had like no budget, and they're just like this bunch of like a little bit older than college age kids trying to put this movie together that they don't have no idea.
Was John Carpenter that young making it?
I think he's like late 20s, early 30s making this movie.
How old was Debra Hill making it? Or you're talking about the actors?
The actors are young, but all the crew members too.
Oh, really? That's really cool.
Yeah. So like everyone was young. I think like the oldest people were some of the actors actually, because Donald Pleasance is Pleasance was like a veteran actor. They approached Christopher Lee.
What? Who's gonna Christopher Lee?
No. Okay, I love Christopher Lee. He has so many good roles. This is Donald Pleasance's best role. He plays a character called Dr. Loomis. I can't wait for you to be introduced to this man.
Loomis.
He's just
the whole time I'm gonna be like, it could have been Christopher Lee though.
It won't work. I'm sorry. I love Christopher Lee. This is not his role.
Christopher Lee reaction. So we never covered it. We watched Wicker Man, the old Wicker Man, and the audio got fucked, and we just gave up on the episode entirely.
It's the lost episode.
Yeah, it's the lost episode. But Christopher Lee was a delight in that movie. We're gonna probably cover it again watching the Nicolas Cage version if I can pitch Eric on it. I'm working on it.
We could do like a folk horror episode.
Yeah.
Where we could talk about that, Midsummer. We could watch the.
We're talking about Midsummer again.
Yeah.
That episode is so
This is just
long.
a Midsummer podcast. Yeah. So, where were we?
Dr. Loomis.
Dr. Loomis. Yeah. So he was playing that. This came together because Erwin, what is his name? Erwin Yablans was the producer, and he came up with the idea of doing like a babysitter murder, and that's where that name came from. It's going to be called the Babysitter Murders. But then he had the idea of putting it on Halloween. Yeah. John Carpenter's like, cool.
This is what I talk about all the time, that you go into an extreme haunted house and someone actually kills you.
Oh, yeah.
So same energy, I'm guessing, maybe.
So we'll talk about themes after the movie, but like I think the main thing that this movie has that kind of separates it from the movies that came prior is the fact that it's set in like the suburbs.
I see. Okay.
So it is like it's poking at that kind of horror of just being like in your comfort zone, and then something coming.
It can happen to white people.
Yeah. The movie.
It's possible.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It really makes you think.
So do you know the background of Jamie Lee Curtis?
No.
She comes from famous.
No, I don't know anything about it.
She had a famous career after this. She did this, Freaky Friday, and the yogurt commercials.
If you told me that, I'd be like, that tracks. It was my knowledge.
She's done so much.
Oh, she's in Scream Queens, isn't she?
She is in Scream Games.
Yeah, I never made it that far.
She's in like the first episode, isn't she?
Maybe. I made it through the first episode, and I stopped watching, so...
That's fine. Once Ariana Grande died, spoilers...
I didn't even get that far.
Oh my gosh.
I got to the lady getting in the deep fryer, and I was like, this
is
what? Not
I realized
for me.
I came into that show late, and I never watched the first few episodes.
Disgusting. They're horrible.
Yeah.
Someone gets thrown in a deep fryer, and you see her face fry off.
That's one of my deepest fears. Still a side tangent.
Whoa, deep fryer?
That happens in the movie Toxic Avenger. He deep fries a guy's face. And this was like, I watched that movie young. Yeah. And then I had a job at a fast food joint where they had deep fryers, and every day...
Do we have to edit out Wendy's?
For my own like mindset and personal trauma, yes, edit out Wendy's, but like...
I'm gonna bleep it, the audio.
The lore continues where it's like, what fast food joint did he work?
Eric work? Where did they both work?
Oh no. But yeah, no, I have a deep fear of deep
Did you ever
fries.
have to deep fry stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fries all the time. And it's just like, and it's true. Like you just feel, I would get used to the amount of like splashes that you'd get from it, and you can only imagine what it would be. Yeah. Anyways, so
that's how I described intrusive thoughts to someone. It's like stick your arm in the deep fryer. Like a thought that bad. It's like just do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of, and then also Scream Queens. So.
Perfect.
It's gotta be a no for me.
So she did Scream Queens, yeah, but I mean she did.
What else?
She also did True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
They're a married couple. She did A Fish Called Wanda, which is a comedy movie.
Okay. Oh, that has baby Leonardo DiCaprio in it? No.
No. I think you're thinking of Catch Me If You Can.
I'm not.
Okay.
I love that movie.
What's Eating
Johnny
Gilbert
Depp?
Grape?
Oh, they're in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
Those two are in that movie.
Jamie Lee Curtis isn't in that movie.
Not Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, I'm thinking the wrong thing. It's
Okay.
fine. We're going to cut out me being wrong. Okay.
Let's just edit it with, Jamie, you're right. Cut back in there.
This might be my new ringtone.
Jamie, you're right. Jamie, you're right. Yeah, so she did a bunch of other stuff.
Were you saying her family's famous?
Yeah, so what I was trying to get
Before we went on
is that she has famous parents.
Okay.
She is Janet Lee's daughter, and Janet Lee is famous for being the scream queen from Psycho.
Okay.
The woman in the shower who goes,
yeah.
That's her mom.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So, and then her dad was...
It's in her blood.
Oh, boy, what's his name? He was in Some Like It Hot. He was also, like, a big deal. They were both, like, there's, like,
Wait, what was his name? Who is he?
I'm gonna be a dummy.
That's okay.
But they were both, like, they're, like, the hot couple of the 50s or whatever they were.
Shit, I didn't know that. I didn't know Lee was her mom's maiden name.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks my name should be Jamie Lee. Just confusing. I get it a lot.
I think it's just because of... Yeah.
Yeah,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Well, maybe because my sister's name is Katie Lee, so people like confuse us. People like combine our names to Jamie Lee, but I get it a lot.
With your powers combined, you form
Jamie Lee Curtis.
2/3 of Jamie Lee Curtis.
We need to find a Curtis and absorb him. And then
any Curtises out there? Come on. What the fuck is his name? Where is he? Hold on.
I'm expecting you to say something completely batshit, like from Some Like It Hot. Like fucking...
It was Marilyn Monroe. That was
I was going to be like...
Tony Curtis. Yeah, okay.
Okay, let me look... I'm going to look him up. Battle of the Keyboards.
I can just pull up a photo for you real quick right here. That's her dad.
Oh, he's hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheated on her mom with Marilyn Monroe on the set of something like
Whoa!
that. Yeah.
Oh no!
Woo! So they got a divorce, but she like had to like live that like with her life. It was kind of like, it sounded kind of shitty. Like she was like a very like self-conscious person.
Jamie Lee
Curtis was, because she had like the two hot parents, and like I think she had an older sister that was a model.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say she's like hot. I don't think she's like, I guess I've only seen her as like an older woman. I'd say she's like handsome, like as a description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, that's the other shitty thing is that, so like this movie, she became friends with like Debra Hill, and I think it was like a really good like growing experience. She has like very fond memories of doing this movie, and then she went on to do Halloween 2, and then The Fog. She was in that.
Yeah.
The shitty life of she like, I really admire her career because she's like persevered. She could have gotten stuck in like the Scream Queen trap, and because she did like in 1980 she did 3 slasher movies. She did Prom Night, Terror Train, and then Halloween 2.
Oh shit, we gotta watch them all.
And then she broke out of that and was able to then start doing some comedy stuff. But that was because there's like a photo shoot that came out and people realized she had like a body.
Oh,
so
that
then
sucks.
They tried to exploit her for that.
Oh,
much.
Great.
Right. And so then she broke out of that, and then she just has become the Jamie Lee Curtis that we know.
Well, she's very powerful. Oh, I see. Is this the photo shoot?
I don't know.
Is that the one?
I don't know which one.
Wait, maybe she is hot.
I think she's very beautiful.
Wait, not that I wouldn't describe her as like pretty. Is what I'm talking about. She kind of looks a little bit like Stevie Nicks. I feel like maybe it's the floofy hair. I don't know. Like it's not. We always joke about hotness on this podcast about like who's hot or not.
We really found the quandary.
But I feel like I feel like first of all, hotness is not your rent you pay to live on the world. And second of all, like she's just not like very, very like super feminine in my opinion, which isn't a bad thing at all. But I don't think she's like hot, but maybe this will change my mind. Then again,
this movie is not going to change your mind. This is not the movie to do it.
I mean, I don't need my mind changed.
She's a 19-year-old girl who's just, or not 19. Well, she is 19, but she's younger in the movie. Anyways,
this hair is challenging. There's a lot of bad hair in this Google image.
Well, she actually got the short hair because she teased out her hair so much in the first Halloween movie that she like cropped it afterwards.
Really?
And in the second Halloween movie, she's wearing a wig.
Oh no!
And that's when they just continued to have her. It's not a bob. What is that kind of haircut?
Like a pixie cut?
I guess it's a pixie cut. Yeah, that she's rocked ever since. I think she pulls it off. Yeah, and then they got Donald Pleasance on board after approaching Christopher Lee and is it Peter Cushing? Yeah, Peter Cushing, who's another veteran horror actor. And Donald Pleasance did it. He shot for 5 days and got $20,000 for it.
Rad.
Which is a lot because this movie was made for only $300,000.
Whoa, the cheapest one so far.
So cheap.
$300,000?
To the point that they shot this in Pasadena in California, but they were trying to play it off as like a Midwest town.
Okay.
So they tried to like hide the palm trees, but you see some of them. And then it's supposed to be fall, but they shot it I think in the summer.
Okay.
So they had fake fall leaves everywhere.
Yeah.
And they said that after they wrapped, they would go with giant trash bags and like pick up all the leaves
so they can reuse them.
Yes.
I love
Which is
that.
wild. But yeah, it was just fun.
Wow.
Like it sounds like just a bunch of these young people like getting together and having this passion to make this fun movie that nobody thinks.
How long did they shoot?
I don't know that.
Okay.
You always come in with the questions.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You've hyped me back up.
All right.
I will watch this film.
Mm.
Let me see. Concept, screenplay, casting, filming on Wikipedia. Oh, I guess the mask is a Captain Kirk mask.
Oh, spoilers.
Oh, did I spoil it?
No.
It was filmed for 20 days over a 4-week period.
All right, that's a very short.
Yeah, so they just like had $3 and wrapped it up.
Yeah, there is. We could put it in the show notes, and I can show you afterwards too. But they had like a person on set like do behind the scenes photos.
Cool.
And it's just like it's very pleasant just seeing them all like.
That sounds great.
Especially because like Debra Hill had a huge career after this. John Carpenter had a huge career after this. Nick Castle, Jamie Lee Curtis, PJ Souls is in this movie as another actress. She had done Rock and Roll High School and was in Carrie, and then she did this and did some other stuff after.
Was she Carrie in Carrie?
No, that's Susie Spacek.
Okay, can't wait for Carrie. Okay,
Carrie's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's watch it.
Let's do it.
Hey everyone, the content warnings for the movie and our discussion are Unreality, stabbing, brief sexual content, sexual violence, which is just a discussion as a possible theme. It's not explicitly shown in the film, and the COVID-19 pandemic. I just want to make a note, so this movie strongly affected me personally, and so that Unreality warning is just for a strong sense of dread and fear and hopelessness. You'll hear us talking through that, and we work to understand it in our discussion, because all of the things that I had a really hard time with in this viewing are reasons why the movie is so highly acclaimed. But I just wanted to warn ahead of time, because if you're watching along but you're in a bad place, just be careful with this one. It's kind of fitting that this movie is so bleak, because things are really bleak right now in the United States. The recent shooting of Jacob Blake and the execution of 2 protesters, Joseph Jojo Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber, and the injury of a 3rd protester named Gage Grosenkurtz by a white terrorist in Kenosha. There are no words for what's going on. I did some reading about Jojo and Anthony both, and they both had been attending protests and actions in Kenosha since May, and they both died trying to disarm the shooter. Anthony actually ended up hitting him with a skateboard because that was the only thing he was armed with. Keeping up momentum and continuing to fight and protest despite a global pandemic and exhaustion and violence is very difficult to do. So let's make the world a little less horrific if we can. We're sharing a link in the show notes that has calls and emails you can make to call for justice for Jacob. And as you're listening now, if you text Jake to 55156, you can sign a petition by color of change demanding justice for him. It's really easy to do. Again, text Jake to 55156. This week we decided the best thing we could draw from this movie is to fight hopelessness however you can. So we donated to Black Lives Matter Phoenix Metro, which is our local Black Lives Matter chapter. They do excellent work in the Valley. We just want to support our community as close to us as we can. But if you feel drawn to support the situation going on in Kenosha right now, we have linked to the official Gofundmes for Jacob Black, Jojo Rosenbaum, and Anthony Ruber. We couldn't find one for Gage Grosenkurtz, but if anyone does, please DM us and we'll include it as well. Things are so difficult right now. And we want to remind you to take action and to take care of yourself. Power to the protesters. Peace to the loved ones Anthony and Jojo leave behind. And death to white fucking supremacy. And if you don't like any of that, listen to another fucking podcast. I know it's we're a horror movie podcast, right? It might feel unrelated, but it's all related because it's the world we live in and it's the context we have, and it's it's a platform that Eric and I have, and we want to do what we can wherever we can, however we can. So if you're still here and you're fighting, love to you. So let's all do our part and let's get into it. We're back. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were just going
to sound like a pug. It takes off the mask.
I've been bred to not breathe properly.
Oh, that's the real horror.
Jamie, you just watched your first slasher movie.
Ugh, I didn't like it. I think it's a really good movie, but I didn't like watching it at all.
And the podcast is over. Thank you for joining us. Roll credits. Credits are going. Did
you think I was going to like it?
No.
Then you were right.
I was hoping you would like it. I thought maybe, just maybe, this movie would win Jimmy over somehow.
It did not win me over. Let's unpack it. I didn't like watching it. I felt filled with dread in an unpleasant way, not like the good dreadful way.
Okay.
That I've experienced so far. Summary of the film. Okay, here we go. Spoilers abound.
Do you want me to do a background noise soundtrack to when you're doing your speak out?
Yeah, let's try it. Okay, so you're so there's what you need to know about this film is that it does a Peter and the Wolf style call and response There's like musical stings. It's like, there he is. It's a really strong beginning. There's teens making out, whatever, and then they have sex, presumably, and then you're seeing points of view in the house, and then someone goes upstairs, and then from your point of view, you grab a knife, you go upstairs, and then the teenage woman in the house is like, oh, Michael, what? And then he stabs her a bunch, and then she dies very quickly, which is one of my beefs with the film. And then he runs outside, and then you find out that's a kid, like a little 6-year-old kid named Michael.
The big plot twist that got Jaime. She was not expecting it.
No, I was expecting it to be a kid. That was a really good beginning. I think that's a really solid beginning.
You thought it was going to be like full-ass Michael?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I guess we started. I guess we started. And then you find out he gets locked up in an asylum, and then there's a nurse driving a psychologist, Dr. Loomis, who was a delight. Eric was right. And
what was
he's
the line
like,
that you read back?
I don't remember.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. We should have written it down. Let me look at my notes. And then he's basically like, this guy's the devil. I'm going to take him to court to make sure he stays in there forever.
The devil's court.
The devil's court. And the nurse drives up, and it's like super, super rainy, and there's like people in white robes like in the street. And then she's like, it's weird that they let them walk around. And the guy's like, what? And so they've escaped somehow. Presumably Mike Meyers grabs the nurse. He doesn't kill her, but he scares her, and he takes the car and he takes off. So then it's Jamie Lee Curtis time. We get what I said happens in Twilight, because I'm determined to bring up Twilight in every single film we watch.
Beautiful. Twilight corner.
They talk about fate. They have a conversation about fate. It's a really quick way that I love to have like literary allusions in your movie. So then they talk about destiny versus like predestination or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of brief. And then she starts seeing him, Mike Myers, staring in through, and then his old house, the Myers house, is like haunted, and all the kids are like, spooky. She's like a lame nerd who babysits and never goes out, and her friends are like, you never have sex, bwamp bwamp, and then their friends, spoilers, they die for having sex or talking about sex, or I don't know if it's like so the one friend gets strangled and killed in a car and stabbed, which I hated, and then the other friend, although her head was on the horn, so I guess he moved her head off the horn. The whole movie is just like lingering shots of him in the background moving slowly towards people. Is this the guy you said moved slow?
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Which
Freddy.
is Freddy's dreams. So he does whatever the fuck he wants.
What about the other guy?
Jason moves slow too.
Ugh.
Jason does run though. There's a scene, there's spoilers, there's a shot in Friday the 13th Part 2, which is one of my favorite shots in the horror movies, because I think a running killer. Because also Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface runs.
Okay.
And that's terrifying. Yeah. But there's a shot in Friday the 13th Part 2 where she's like inside the house and there's a window and you see Jason just fucking poking it towards the window. And that's so much more scarier to me. Just imagining a massive human just like fucking barreling through.
Is he big?
Yeah.
Is that his thing? Okay.
This
guy was pretty big too.
He's relatively short. He's like a decent size. They make him bigger.
I guess it's all like women.
As the film goes on. Yeah. Because if you saw him when he fought Bob, he was actually a little bit shorter than Bob. Bob's the guy with glasses, yes.
Okay. We're getting ahead of ourselves. So all he does is lurk. We said he's a social distancing quarantine icon because he wears a mask and stays 6 feet away. But he's just like following them in the car. I don't know why he latched onto her. I might have just missed it.
I think it's because he saw her in the beginning when he was at the house. It was like she's like the first
thing.
Oh,
that's right. Okay, because Jamie Lee Curtis, who is Laurie,
Strode.
Her dad is selling the haunted house, and so he sees her on the steps of the haunted house, and he's in the house when that happens, which was pretty scary. And so he sees her, latches onto her, starts following her around. The kid she's babysitting gets pushed over, and his pumpkin gets squished, and these guys are like, Boogeyman's gonna get you, little fuckers. And then he doesn't see him then.
No.
But Mike Myers is like standing outside of the school watching this. Okay. And so then shenanigans. It's just like slow pacing, like, he's gonna do it. I just wish he would just do it. You know, the whole time I'm just like, ugh.
Jamie wants more violent murders, more frequently.
I don't know. I didn't, it like stressed me out, but it wasn't like fun. It wasn't fun. It was just like, ugh. That is the feeling I had watching this movie was, ugh. But, Yeah, and so then he kills her one friend after a bunch of fake outs, because you keep seeing him in the background, and then he kills her, and then he kills the other friend, the boyfriend, and then the other friend. And then she gets a phone call. Jamie Lee Curtis gets a phone call from the friend while she's being strangled. All of the strangulation noises sounded like sex noises in this movie also. I felt like, or anytime anyone was being stabbed, maybe, is that what it sounds like? I fortunately never heard anyone get stabbed, so don't write in and tell us. I don't want to know. But yeah, so stab, and then she eventually goes over, and everything is happening at that house, and then the little boy she's babysitting keeps seeing him, and then, like, she's babysitting across the street from the house where everyone's getting murdered in, and so she puts the kids to sleep. Did I miss anything? I don't think so.
That's pretty much it. Yeah,
and then she walks into the house, and then, Mike Meyers stole his sister's headstone. The sister he stabbed to death as a child, stole her headstone, has it on the bed, and then the body of one of the friends on the bed, and then the boyfriend's body swings over, and then she opens cabinet opens, and then the other friend
steals the headstone. He parks like at least 3 blocks away, and then
he just carried that?
I guess he just carries it to the house.
Halloween.
Stores it in like the back area. Waits to kill 3 people, and then it's like, this is time to get the headstone. Goes outside, all it happens. Like, this is the thing I realized.
How did he know there would be 3 people there, too?
He did. Yeah. I guess he just, like, they just popped up. He's, like, probably getting the headstone ready, and he's like, oh, fuck, there's 2 more people.
Like,
I have to go
I'll just
play practical pranks on.
Yeah, pranks.
Oh, look, I'm gonna put my bed sheet over me, and she doesn't think I'm her boyfriend.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty good.
Michael's got a good. That's what people don't talk about. They don't talk about his good sense of humor.
He got a little sense of whimsy going on there. Yeah, because he kills the boyfriend, then comes up to the girlfriend, and the girlfriend, he's wearing a sheet and then puts sunglasses over it.
It's the boyfriend's glasses.
Ghost. Oh, it's the boyfriend's glasses. Okay. I thought they were just, like, random sunglasses, and I was like, okay.
Hey.
And then she's like, very funny, ha ha. And then he kills her.
He very much, like, has, like his own anticipation. Like, he's, like, really, like, taking in the people before he kills them.
Yeah. So that leads me... Okay. Well, then that happens. Jamie Lee Curtis is in the house. Bunch of all the friends are in the house. Sucks. She sees all of her dead friends. She stabs him with a knitting needle. Is able to stab him with a knitting needle in the throat. He, like, seems like he's dead. She's like... Whew, okay. She broke her leg, or hurt her leg pretty badly.
Sprained it, probably.
And she, like, runs out of the house and is screaming and, like, pounding on the doors of a neighbor, and the neighbor's
She doesn't stab him
on.
until she goes to the other house.
Wait. Okay, so she goes, yes, but she's in the other house, she stabs him, and then she runs out to try to get help?
No. She stabs him in the other house.
Other house? Her house.
Yeah, so she falls off the stairs, sprains her leg, runs
That's
out.
right, okay.
And then he breaks into the Tommy's house. That's when she stabs him.
But she, like, runs and tries to get help, and then the neighbors hear her, turn off their lights, and close their blinds. And it's like, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
And then she gets back to the house, she tells the kids to go upstairs. She does stab him with a knitting needle in the neck. It is rad. I was knitting watching this movie. We did just look at my knitting needle, and we were like, wonder, huh? And then he's dead, and she's like, dead, air quotes. And then she just leaves him, which one time, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Okay, so she goes upstairs.
I feel bad for anybody. No, wait, this is such a weird statement, but I feel bad for anybody who breaks into Jamie's house because she's gonna stab them so many times.
Don't feel bad. Feel
great.
Feel like a sense of completion will be gotten.
Don't try to throw a surprise party for Jamie. You pop out from behind the couch saying surprise. Jamie stabs you 20 times with a knitting needle.
Funny story. My friends did try to throw a surprise party for me in high school, and I showed up early because my mom had to drop me off, and they were like, girl, this is for... And I was like, what? It's at Patty's house. And then they were...
Surprise!
Yeah, literally, they were like, this is a surprise party for you. And I was like, oh, whew.
Can I help?
Yes, that's what happened. Yeah. I'm really glad it wasn't. I would hate that. I would not like a surprise party, I don't think. If it's, like, small, but it was a lot of people. And they showed up later, and I was like, surprise, it's my birthday!
I got it. Unrelated note, I got to call a few people real quick.
Okay. Be like,
abort.
It is August. So, we got
It wouldn't be a surprise if it was on your birthday. You never know.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that's right. Fuck, what? Okay, so she leaves him, and then she tells the kids, yay, we're safe! And then he comes back, and then she's like, fuck! And then she throws the kids in a bathroom and is like, lock yourselves in there. And then she goes and hides in a closet, and then he busts in the closet, and then she picks up a coat hanger, And it takes a long time for him to bust in the closet. A long time. And he's making these horrible, like, grunting noises when he does it. Like, breathing noises. And then she grabs a coat hanger and then straightens it out and then somehow stabs him in the eye. I don't think it would have been strong enough to do that, but I guess I don't know the powerful coat hangers of the late 70s. So
Wire
maybe,
hangers, yeah.
I guess. So stabs him in the eye and then he falls over and then she's like, I did it again. Great. And then she calls back the kids and they hug again and she's like, go get the cops, like, go get help. And then she stays, and she has her back turned to him. And so then, of course, you see him stand up and walk. I'm like, multiple stabs. And then I guess I'm proven wrong. Because his psychologist, the guy from earlier, Dr. Loomis, hears the kids screaming, and then he runs in. This whole time, he's been waiting by his old house. This is so scattered. I'm just trying to synthesize it all. And then he runs upstairs and shoots him, like... a lot.
Like 5 times.
Finally. I was like, I guess I love guns now. Finally, give Jamie Lee Curtis a gun. He shoots him a bunch. He falls out the window, 2-story window, lands down, and then she's like, he was the boogeyman. And the guy goes, yes, he was. And then he turns back. He's gone. And then, well, no, not end of movie, because then it does really good shots of the rest of the neighborhood with the breathing point of view. Yes. So then it's like, he could be here, he could be here, he could be behind this bush, he could be here. And then it ends on the shot of the old house, which was a great ending. Yep. And that was the movie.
Yep.
I think.
You did it.
Yeah, I think. How long is this movie? It felt so long.
I think it's only like an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah,
really?
It's 90 minutes.
It felt so long.
Ooh.
If I was just like, ugh. It's just the sense of dread, just like the.
That's good.
Is it? Is it good? What do you think about this movie? What?
Well, no,
you look scared.
He's right behind you.
No, stop, Eric.
I do like the idea of him like constantly being in front of people's windows, but you live in like a 2-story house, so he's like gets a ladder, climbs up the ladder, and looks through the window. And you think you see something, he has to like climb down real quick, move the ladder back.
This motherfucker.
God, he would do so bad in an apartment complex.
Yeah, it just keeps popping up.
Yeah, he's just like, I'll be over here, then I'm over here. Well, okay, I'm trying to process the question I want to ask you. It's like,
no, you don't get to.
Well, no, because it's
draw
like,
for reverse.
It's weird.
Card my question.
It's weird because you're like this movie's so suspenseful and there's so much anticipation.
Yeah.
But then you're saying I hate it.
Yeah, I didn't like feeling that way.
Okay.
It wasn't like fun fear. It wasn't like The Conjuring, and it wasn't like.
But what's different about this movie than The Conjuring? Is it because there's a spooky ghost
at
the end of the road?
I don't know. It just felt like. I think it's important that we got that English class illusion. It felt like inevitable. Mm-hmm. Like, it just doesn't matter how slow he's moving. And, like, there were so many fake outs. There were no jump scares, really, except fake jump scares, like running into the cop
yeah,
a bunch of times.
The quietest cop in the world.
Yeah. There were no, like, true jump scares with him. He was just in the background, so it's just, like, the inevitability of him. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it. It didn't feel good. It felt bad.
Well, we talked about this, I think, in episode 0, right? About, like, the fate and, like, being locked into it.
Yeah.
Because you said that, like, It Follows you're, like, deeply terrified of. Because that's all that is.
Similar energy is what it feels like. And it wasn't, like... I don't know why, just, like, wrong place, wrong time. Just, like, I don't know. I think it's scary because it's not supernatural. Like, every other movie we've watched has something that's unhuman. But this is just some dude, like, in your... Maybe I'm the white people this movie is targeting.
It is interesting because literally everything you're saying you're hating about it is that it's just, like, kind of giving it props.
Yeah, I just didn't like watching it at all. Mm-hmm. I didn't enjoy any of it. I just didn't like watching it.
But it did a good job.
Yeah, I don't think it did it.
It did what it was trying to do effectively. It's just unfortunately what it was effectively doing is something new.
You're having a hard time reconciling me thinking it was good with me hating watching it, I think.
No.
I'm watching the wheels turn in your brain.
because you're saying everything that people praise this movie for. It happens that you don't like what it's doing.
Yes, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't like... I feel like even The Exorcist was, like, still, I don't know, I felt a lot more, I don't feel, like, keyed up watching this, I just feel like, ugh, just like, oh, great, there he is, you know, I should be in this movie. I'd be like, what did she say?
What?
That was, like, so rad. She said something, she's like, cut it out, meatheads, scary time's over, or something to her friends.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about El Jerko.
Oh, no. Yeah, our girl called her boyfriend El Jerko. Yeah, I just didn't, I think it was paced really well. I think the music's really good. I think it's very, like, dreadful. I don't know if it's, like, scary. But I didn't like it. So what do you like about it? Does that answer your question? No.
I mean, yeah. It's a very unique take.
You know how literal I am.
Right.
It was scary, so I didn't. See, I guess that's why you come to this podcast, for hot takes that are bad, I guess.
I wouldn't say they're bad. I mean, like, because what I would still, like, would you recommend this movie to people?
Ugh, no. I don't know.
All right.
Well, what are they watching a movie for?
It's entertainment. It's to get a little bit
I was
spooked.
not entertained.
All right.
I don't say I was spooked. I wasn't, like, spooked. I wouldn't say it was entertaining. I would recommend this movie to someone. I would recommend it to you.
Oh, really?
If you haven't seen it.
I heard you like horror movies. Have you seen Halloween?
I wouldn't recommend this to someone who... No, I wouldn't. I don't think I would. It depends on what they were trying to watch a movie for. I'm going to be thinking about it a lot, because I think... All right, you're avoiding my question. What do you like about this movie? Everything I don't like.
Yeah, this is like the exact same conversation we had with The Exorcist.
Oh,
where
no,
it's like, you're
I'm
like,
breaking Eric's heart over
no,
the
you're
classics.
not. It's fine. It's what, like, you're I value your opinion, and I'm fascinated by your opinion. That's why we do this podcast, but your opinion isn't going to break me. It's not going to, like, make me go, like...
We'll see.
I'll take my VHS tape and throw it out the window.
Truth or Dare is the best movie I've ever seen.
I'm so scared to show you, like, because, like, I like Halloween. I think Halloween's a good movie, but it's not, like,
I think it was a good movie.
It's not, like, my roster of, like, top 10 favorite horror movies.
Okay.
Once we get
Have we hit any of those? Conjuring, right?
Conjuring? I guess that's in my, like, top.
You said it was, like, a good, solid, very scary movie.
Yes, I think that's true. But there's a difference between watching a movie and, like, really enjoying it versus a movie that, like, you'll keep with you, I think. Like Alien is, like it hit, I think, for you on, like, such a, like, personal level. That you, like, just really enjoy this movie, and something about it, like, just, like, kind of does stay with you. You're painting Ripley now, and you're getting posters and stuff. Like, that, there's, like, a difference. Like, when I watch The Conjuring, I'm like, wow, The Conjuring is really good and really scary.
Like, where's my Conjuring merch?
But, like, where's my Conjuring? I have the rosary from Conjuring too, actually. Right.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's rad.
They were handing out as promos, and I thought it was so
It's gonna
sick.
be like Ed and Lorraine.
This is good, just in case, I have a nun.
It's in a little box. You don't even have it.
What?
You need it closer to you.
Oh, the rosary?
Oh, it's busted.
Oh, no. Oh!
Uh-oh!
No, I have a Bible and a rosary near my bedside.
I'm gonna keep singing it. The farther we get away from this movie, literally time-wise, the more I'm thinking back and enjoying it, but watching it, I hated it.
All right. Maybe we need to do... This is the same thing I think we're... No, The Exorcist you kind of just hated.
I guess. I don't know.
Because...
Hate is a strong word. I didn't enjoy watching this movie. I think it is valuable and smart and, like, effective. I just didn't enjoy what it did.
Right.
So what are the movies you're scared to show me now?
No, we'll talk about that later, but I'll answer your first question of what I liked about this movie.
52 minutes in.
I think, I'm just going to put the rosary down. I think this movie, it's almost like hard to watch it because I've seen so many other horror movies that it's almost like it's so boilerplate, but you get it. Like, that's the thing that I think is cool about the movie is that I watch it, I still think it's a good movie. I'm not like, this is boring, I've seen this 100 times.
Yeah.
Like, it's still, like, one of the best crafted slasher movies.
Yeah.
So many pale in comparison. I think there's some that rival it, and we'll get to those later. But I think this one is just, like, it's crazy to watch it and be like, oh, people, like, took these elements of it, and we're like, this is what makes this good. And then
I'm glad we watched it before the other ones.
Yeah, I think it's a reverse of The Exorcist Conjuring, because I think things are taking so much inspiration from The Exorcist, but what The Exorcist was trying to do, it translates better with The Conjuring because it's more modern.
I see.
I think with the slasher genre, it's just so many of them were just trying to do Halloween.
Yeah.
That you can, like, it gives it more basis when they do kind of obscene things. You're like, what are they doing? It's like, oh, they're trying to do this element.
That makes sense. Yeah, the thing that kept getting me to was the phone calls. Because they were all, like, babysitting and phone calling, and I kept expecting it to be him. But that's just because it's been in other movies. Or it's like when you pick up the phone and then they're just, like, breathing on it. Like, that's, like, I knew that, so I kept expecting it to be him, and then I was like, Fuck, did he get a phone?
He didn't seem like he understood
phones.
phones.
Yeah.
He knows cars, but he just doesn't know phones.
Yeah, that's wild. He was able to drive, which Eric pointed out that I didn't think about.
He's doing pretty damn well a job of it. Or
when did he say that?
He said it. We were talking during it. It was at the very beginning, and they like try to address it. It's weird because you don't see like Freddy just like do like driving around his cars. But yeah, no, I mean the look is one of the best looks. I think all the actors do a really good job. I love Donald Pleasance. I don't think like. When they announced they're doing like the new Halloween movie, I was like, it's not gonna be that good because
wasn't it really good?
It's good. Yeah. It's good, but like Jamie Lee Curtis kills it.
Yeah, doesn't she like kick his ass?
She does great. You're gonna love that movie.
I think I will like that movie. She was on my horror team. She was on my team of people I'd want to face a problem with until she did it again. Yeah. Until she stabbed him and left him again. Then she's off my team. Sorry.
But yeah, the only thing I was like, because Donald Pleasance is like so much for me, so much of the enjoyment of this movie, and like as the series continues, he gets more and more over the top, if you can believe it. I
liked him a lot,
and so that I loved him. I like they do so many simplistic things that like the reason why you can't replicate it is that you have to do something different, and that's what makes this movie effective, because when they were making it, they were just like he's a force of nature. There's no rhyme or reason why he's going after these girls, really.
Ooh, maybe that's why I didn't like it.
He doesn't have them, like, you don't know his motive. He just is a force of nature that's going out there and killing things.
That's why you like it?
And I think that's good, because it's the best way to, it's what we were talking about at the very beginning of, like, what scares us. This movie doesn't scare me, but it's, like, it does everything right to scare people, because it's the plausibility to you.
You wouldn't be scared by this? You're not scared by the inevitable?
I mean, the idea of the inevitable, but am I scared about... do I watch this and then like be like, oh, I need to keep the lights on at night because Michael might get me? No. Huh. But then again, I've seen this before. I've seen so many other slasher movies. I'm also
really
I'm like 50 years away from this movie.
Because this is like the most horrifying thing I can think of, basically.
In concept, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe that was what was bothering me too, because I thought... For a second, I thought it was like... Because his sister's, like, topless when he kills her, and then one of the girls is topless, and then one of the girls is, like, scantily clad. She spilled butter on her shirt, which I think is, in retrospect, the most relatable part of the movie.
Oh, jeez, I got butter on
my shirt. So I was like, okay, so he only kills women. Like, it's like a psychosexual thing with his sister, and he, like, kills women.
So that's, like, the...
But then he killed the boyfriend, and I thought he was going to kill the kids. He didn't kill the kids. He did kill a dog. Oh, there's a dog death. You can kind of see it coming. They talk about...
It's when she spills the butter on her shirt, and then you hear the dog barking. It's at minute 43 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh, rad.
And lasts for a minute.
Good on Eric. Yeah, there's
pretty much once it cuts back to, like, the TV in the other house.
Okay. Yeah, just keep fast forwarding.
I had the timestamp, but I had my laptop closed. And then I paused it like 3 minutes before, and the entire time Jamie's like, with her eyes covered.
There also is they talk about an animal death in the house before that. You don't see it.
Yeah, they don't show anything.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no. So it's like they make it him motiveless. He has no motive.
Is he?
And we can get into it. Technically, the movie is trying to portray something that has no motive that can happen to you, and that's what the whole ending is about. Is like he's out there. He could be anywhere. And so, like, that, I think that's what sold it. That's why everybody was, like, freaked out. If you're a kid and you saw that, you're like, oh, he could...
Oh, yeah, this would be really fucking scary.
There's a podcast I listened to, In Myers We Trust, which they break down the entire film series.
Oh, my gosh.
The one guy was actually traumatized as a child because his babysitter, like, just put it on TV. And then
horrible babysitter!
And he's had nightmares since.
Oh, my God.
But, like, loves it for it.
We were talking about... So, Eric, you've never babysat.
I've never babysat.
I have briefly babysat, and I was like, this does not seem quite right. Like... Jamie Lee Curtis is the only good babysitter. The rest of the babysitters suck.
They just want... Well, I think that's fair, though. When, like, teenagers, like, a lot...
That's like a stereotype in movies, is that teenagers
I take it back.
To fuck their boyfriends while they're babysitting, which is, like, not...
Because I worked at a kid's place that
That's
had
true.
Kids.
Oh shit!
And
yeah.
It's very relatable that some teenagers just don't give a shit about the kids. They just want to like.
Okay.
But that's what like makes Lori the relatable one, right? It's
yeah,
like
she's great.
She's cool. Like
she's really good in this movie. She did a really good job.
I'm a shy person who wants to just read my books and then like be cool with the kids and watch scary movies. And then all of her friends are next door trying to like
her friends were
get it on in a stranger's house.
Yeah, I mean, okay, as a teenager though, I feel like you are trying to fuck wherever you can.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, just like
better than your car.
Well, one girl died in the car.
Didn't try to
on her way to fuck.
Yeah.
What happened to her boyfriend? What happened to that boyfriend?
I guess he's just out there. still.
He's still out there. Paul, the
he could be over there. He could be here. He's just trying to get down.
So do you think that they were like sexual crimes?
So that's an interesting thing that is like, that's, whew, man, Jamie, you're on to it. I'm glad you've come to this conclusion by yourself.
I have another theory about Suburbia, but we'll get there.
Yes, Jamie.
Oh my god, I'm so smart.
So,
Eric did just fist pump in the air.
the main thing that this movie kind of portrays and that slasher movies just like fucking run with is the sexual content. Is like, because like when you talk about the slasher formula, there's the final girl who's the virgin.
Yep.
And the movie, like in Scream, there's a scene.
Did this movie establish that?
Yeah. Pretty much, This is the formula. In every other slasher movie, they're trying to emulate this movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What makes it so fascinating to watch other slasher movies is how they interpret the source material. It really is like
Were they intending to do that when they wrote this movie?
No. So when they wrote the movie, John Carpenter and Debra Hill and like everyone on board all talked about how their intent was not to make it that Laurie is this pure virgin girl and all of her friends who are having sex get killed because they have sex.
Yeah.
Because Laurie smokes weed, and one of the rules in the...
Hell yeah, Laurie!
Laurie...
Also, dude!
Do you mind if I play you a clip from Scream?
Will it spoil it?
I mean, it's the scene where they break down the rules of horror movies.
Okay.
And they're using... There was already established rules that people were trying to take away from this movie.
Sure.
But then it all of a sudden layered on top of it, because then everybody was just emulating what Scream had said the rules are. All right, so we're back.
Wait, okay, so is that the first time someone said it, like, out loud?
I think Scream? It was, I mean, I didn't live during this time, but if you look...
You were alive?
I was alive, you're right. But
are you telling me a 2-year-old Eric didn't know what's up?
So it pretty much breaks down like the main things is that you don't have sex and you don't do drugs or drink alcohol because those are like there's like some sort of moral code to, and that's what we were kind of going with Midsommar, where it's like you're like these people don't deserve it. Yet back then in slasher movies, what they took away from Halloween is that if you pretty much do anything that a teenager wants to do, you get killed. So if you drink, you have sex, you're dead.
Okay.
And so that's where this movie gets like psychoanalyzed a lot, where it's like
where Halloween does, not Scream.
Halloween, yeah.
Okay.
Well, where Halloween does is like so you psychoanalyze it, and they say, all right, so Jamie Lee Curtis is the final girl. She survives because she's the pure virgin, and all their friends get killed. But really, what they were trying to do with the script is just that why would she stay over here while all of her friends are in this house?
Yeah, I didn't feel like the script was making that moral judgment on anything.
Because like you're like, oh, he just kills the women, but like
that's what I thought.
It's just literally anyone who's in his path, because he kills the truck driver too, or the...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because how to get the car. Yeah.
He's just like a force of nature, and he just, if you're in his way or if you're near where he is, I don't know why he really picks that house or anything. It's I guess because he sees Laurie. Yeah. I think there is a connection there that you can get into where it's like, why did he kill his sister? I think there might have been something there.
Yeah.
But that's like the only thing that might have like triggered it.
Yeah.
And it is funny because in the podcast, I'll shout out Halloween Unmasked, which is done by Amy Nicholson, who's a film critic. Amazing. She also does Unspooled with Paul Scheer. It's great. Recommended. She goes, the podcast is pretty much the most comprehensive thing that you can listen to.
Okay.
She interviews pretty much everyone, and it goes like, they break it out into chunks of like the movie, the score, the final girl concept. Because people like take this movie and like fucking break it down and then teach classes on it. And they had an actual like psychologist on, and it was funny because he brought up like a lot of good points. One, he talks about how Dr. Loomis is terrible at his job.
That was Dr. Loomis. He's like, he was horrible.
He's like you misdiagnosed this guy, and then you just trapped him up, and you did like so much bad stuff, and you pretty much caused this monster. Oof. Which I do believe is true. Like I think Loomis is like the problem.
Oh wow, okay, I didn't get that.
I think like he is a force of nature, but like Loomis just like to discredit somebody as being pure evil and then like passing them off and trying to lock them up. He did spend, I guess, 8 years trying to reach the boy. I just think he did a bad job of it. I think it is a reflection of the time of, like...
I actually appreciated that about him. He's probably bad. I was like, he's like, last cause, next.
But that's, like, I think that, like, it's a reflection of, like, the current, like, or at the time, it's, like, it's medical practice of like not understanding fully the human condition.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I had brought up earlier that like serial killers hadn't even been coined yet, so we didn't even really understand the mind yet.
Yeah.
And so to him, that Michael might have had a problem, and they might have been able to solve it, but at the time, I guess, they just passed it off as he's evil.
Sister stabbing problem.
He's pure evil.
That's pretty good.
And then he also, it's funny too.
So the psychologist just said he's a bad psychologist, but what do they think about the
He also brought up the point that everyone's obsessed with Laurie's virginity, but nobody's obsessed with Michael's virginity. Because
good point.
He's a virgin too.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I mean, he knows how to drive a car, but that's about it.
Well, I feel like the act of stabbing is penetrative, so that's like kind of a.
Because the killer always has something that's phallic. It's like it's always a knife. Carol J. Clover, who wrote Men, Women, and Chainsaws, which is a book that we both got and we will be reading and eventually review. This is the first time I saw her pop up, and she talks about a lot of stuff that I can't even break down everything that they talk about with slashers and like the cycles. There's just like so much. But one of the main things is talking about how you never give the killer a gun. It's always something like a blade.
That's true. Yeah,
it's always something phallic, so that way they can penetrate. And even if a killer gets a gun, usually it's portrayed as the bullet penetrating the woman.
Yikes! Ugh, I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. So I don't know, because I feel like slashers are very sexual in nature. Like other ones are.
Because, so this movie comes out, and then a year later...
That sucks that everyone's like, oh, okay, virgin, got it. Sex, got it. Took notes. Like, I don't think that's what the movie... I think what you said is what the movie was trying to do, not that.
And Friday the 13th is, like, the prime example. Because there was the guy...
Oh, Friday the 13th is ripping off of this.
Yes.
Okay.
1980, came out 2 years later, and it was directed by a guy who only had done, like, porn beforehand.
Oh,
Saw
God,
this movie.
No, I hate him already!
Saw this movie, and was like, I can do that. And then made Friday the 13th, which is, like, that's...
I already hate it.
And then, like, that's... Like, Friday the 13th pretty much is what everything else is kind of doing afterwards.
It's like the horny version of this.
Yeah, because this movie establishes, like, these are the rules. Friday the 13th was like the first copycat of that. I think a lot of things were just ripping off of Friday the 13th more so than they were of...
Okay, so they weren't taking notes off of this, they were taking notes off of Friday. Well, that makes sense that I was so confused about Friday the 13th and this, and then the other one.
Yeah, well, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, although it's a slasher movie and has a slasher formula, it just does so much in it.
Yeah.
To, like, separate it. It really
After this movie, though.
Yes, that's 84. So it comes, it's late in the game.
Yeah.
Because... But so another cool thing, which we brought up in the beginning, which is like after this movie in 1980, Jamie Lee Curtis was already in 3 slashers.
Yeah.
Like this can go into the boom too. So pretty much this movie came out, was made for $300,000.
Crazy. Just
nothing. And then they started showing it, and then like word of mouth like blew this movie.
I believe it. Yeah, absolutely.
And it ended up making around $70 million.
Whoa!
So much money.
Oh my God! Back in the day too.
Yeah.
Woof.
And so after that, John Carpenter and Debra Hill and Jamie Lee Curtis went off to make The Fog.
To make movie magic.
Yes. And they also they had some contract issues and they were forced to make Halloween 2.
Okay.
And nobody wanted to make Halloween 2. And it kind of shows in Halloween 2.
Is it all the same characters?
It's Laurie still. I mean, she's like
okay, is she in college?
It's right after these events, pretty much.
Oh my God. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't
It's like Mike Meyers rolling around in the grass and they're like, there he is!
It's actually one long take of Donald Pleasance running after Michael. And he's just...
Like, Michael!
Pure evil, come back here! Oh, so fast!
I would watch that.
Yeah, but then she's already... In 1980, she's in Prom Night, which is a slasher flick. Terror Train, slasher flick, and it's just... So you already started to see all these movies starting to, like, pop up. And then from there on, like, I think we don't really, like, understand how much there was. Because it pretty much got to a certain point where with Friday the 13th, they came out yearly. And same with...
That's crazy.
Nightmare on Elm Street. So you're pretty much getting all these movies, like, back to back to back.
Yeah.
So you're getting the main ones on top of all these other ones.
It's like Disney remakes now.
Yeah.
Same energy.
Yeah. And I compare it mostly to, like, the Western trend. And that's why I think, like, we got so burnt out that it pretty much, like, blew up. And then Scream came out, revitalized the entire franchise or entire genre.
Yeah.
And then that blew out right away.
Yeah.
Like, Scream should have been, like, the farewell, not like, oh, everything needs to be meta now.
They're like, let's do it again.
Yeah, well, look at this. Funny, we know what we're doing, huh?
Do you know what I think would be really interesting? I think maybe after we watch a lot of movies, I don't think the podcast can ever, like, end, right? Because more movies are going to come out. But when we watch...
When we've watched every movie.
Every movie, we can finally die. No, like, when we watch it, like, map out the social issues of the time with everything.
Yeah.
Because I think... Well, I'm thinking of, like, how we keep talking about the torture porn and, like, the Iraq War and stuff, and, like, 9/11, and, like, wanting people to suffer, like, viscerally suffer, like, put a face to suffering instead of having it just be, like, terror. Like, here's a physical body we're gonna torture. But, like, this, I feel like, is really speaking to, like, fright in the suburbs, like, crime coming into the suburbs. Like, it could happen to you, it could happen anywhere, and, like... This is, because when I listen, I'm not really a true crime person. Imagine that. But when I do listen to true crime, I always wondered, like, how serial killers got away with it, because people wouldn't lock their doors. They would leave their windows open. Like, they just didn't think they were touchable. Like, if you were in the suburbs, it was, like, safe Americana, you know, and then that was what they used to get away with it. Like, Ted Bundy used his mask of, like, charming white man, you know? He didn't need a...
Yeah.
He didn't need a... Who's this guy? Mike Myers. It was
Michael
Kirk.
Myers.
Yeah, they didn't need... Oh, yeah, right.
You've been seeing Mike Myers this entire time. It's like... Michael Myers.
all right. Is that like analysis of the movie? Is that a thought?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You did it. Like that's like
okay.
I mean that's why they said it in the suburbs. It's because it's supposed to be like a safe space.
Yeah.
And you have this. I mean,
is that racial?
I don't think so. I think it's more tied to because I think it's tied to both John Carpenter's history of seeing kind of white suburbia and the like of the evil that lies within everyone. Yeah. And then also tied with the kind of like the Manson murders and all that stuff, starting to see like serial killers emerge.
Okay.
And so I think that because like the serial killers such like John Wayne Gacy, and I don't think also not into true crime, so it's a shocker on my part. Yeah. But I think Ted Bundy was like a little bit before or after this, so it's just like this is when we start realizing that like everyday average white Americans could be serial killers.
I think
and so I think it's commenting on that.
It's not like white flight out of the cities though into the suburbs. So I think it is challenging like the status quo. I don't know if it is. I don't think this movie is like obviously like a racial. That would be so fucked if it was like a racial, like this is the metaphor for crime, which is for black people. You know, like it's not doing that.
It could so easily
devolve
into
I think it's much smarter than that. But I think it would be easy for someone to watch this movie and that be their takeaway, being like, oh, this is crime, and that's because of like other people who aren't like are good, because he's like an other coming into their town.
Even though he's from the town, but yeah.
Well, there it is. Smarter than
your average bear.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's. It makes sense. I'm enjoying talking about it much more than I enjoyed watching it.
And I think that's even true of me. Like, I think I enjoyed like learning about this movie.
Yeah.
More than watching the movie.
Yeah.
Because what the movie is, the movie, when you look at the movie, I just see the anatomy of it now. Like, I just see it like on the table, and it's like open up, and it's like, oh, there's that part, and there's this part, and stuff like that.
I was kind of waiting for it. I wanted it to kick off a little faster. You know, it's just like very dreadful, and like it took its sweet fucking time, and I was just like, let's pop off, let's do it.
It's patient. It's relatively bloodless.
Yeah.
It's not overly sexualized. I don't think it ever like it's just like compared to what comes, it's just so like tame.
The only thing that leads me to believe that it was like kind of a psychosexual thing is that he puts his sister's tombstone on a bed where people had sex, and then the body of a woman he killed.
The tombstone's such a good.
It was so funny. Eric's like, I think this is really dumb, and then it showed up, and I was like, I love a gimmick.
It's so. I don't know. This is also... So then this movie blew up, the slasher boom happened, and it spawned a bunch of sequels too, which we kind of talked about the second one. It's up to...
Aren't there like 6 of these?
So it's one of the more messy franchises.
Okay.
I love me some horror sequels. I think there's so much to like look at like postpartum of a lot of these franchises of like what they looked like and where like they peaked.
Yeah.
I think that like Friday the 13th is pretty solid franchise, and Nightmare on Elm Street is a pretty solid franchise. Halloween, I think Halloween can stand toe to toe to any of those other movies. I think it's better than most of them.
Okay.
But as a franchise, I think it's one of the worst.
Oh shit.
And it's up to 12 now if you count the.
Oh my god.
If you count the 2 movies that are in production, because Blumhouse is making a trilogy.
That's right. Okay, but that's with Jamie Lee Curtis now. That's like her grown up.
But she did come back. So she was in the second one, and then she was done. Yeah. The third one. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to watch it. We have so many other movies.
I think we should watch the third one because it's not Michael Myers.
What?
What happened was that after the second one, they pretty much tried to finalize it because nobody wanted to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so then John Carpenter was like, what if we do an anthology series where each movie is a different thing?
Okay.
So Michael Myers story, it's done. Halloween 3, season
Everyone must have hated that.
They did.
Yeah, they like go to the movies, they're like, where's Michael Myers?
Fucking hated it. And then by the fourth one, it was Return of Michael Myers. Okay. And then I think the fifth one is Revenge of Michael Myers. So like, Michael's in this movie. The third one is insane.
I would have loved if they had just not done that. Just been like, Revenge of Michael Myers, and then he never shows up. Like, no, the next one. The next one.
So it has like 3 reboots in it too. Because I think it gets to 6, and then 20 years later, after this movie, they made H2O, Halloween 20.
That sucks!
Which is a sequel to...
An evil merman. He's just in a tank of water.
Pure evil can breathe underwater.
It's like Merman and Barnacle Boy and SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Evil! See, it's already right there. Writes itself.
Wow, can't believe SpongeBob ripped off Halloween.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, so it rebooted then, and then they have the 2 Rob Zombie movies in the 2000s.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Rob Zombie did 2 Halloween movies.
Yeah?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I already talked about how I think Rob Zombie's bad, but I think he's a nice man. So, anyways. Yeah, no, I think it fits in the like early 2000s aesthetic. Like, I just think like early 2000s, for what you would think we would like slowly like I feel like it ramped up. Like we're like, all right, we got like that's when the torture was like gorier, more violent towards women, just more shitty things, and it's awful. And then
I think something I'd like to do maybe is like a retrospective on each genre, like subgenre, so like slashers, when I'm able to do some research, because I'd really like to dig into this stuff like academically, but before we watch the movies, obviously I can't. So maybe we'll have like the slasher episode and like talk about
I think
if you want to do that.
So I think cool. Personally, in order to like for us just to like if you want to hit the main beats so we can like kind of get into it quicker for slasher genre, I would say we watch the big 3, so Halloween, Friday the 13th, which you'll hate, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, which I hope you like Nightmare on Elm Street, and then
what
watch
if
Scream.
Don't? Are you gonna disown me?
No, because then we can watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay, but what if I don't like that?
Then I disown you.
I see. Okay, then the
pod's over. I get it. I think you would like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, minus some of the gory stuff. But if you like a good bit, that's all.
I love a good bit.
That's all.
You know I love a good
that's
bit.
all Freddy is.
Yeah.
Freddy eventually devolves into just a pun machine. He's just like, oh, what's your nightmare? Oh, you don't like being a cockroach? Well, now you're metamorphosis and you're a cockroach. And you're really bugging me, huh? And then he kills you. Yeah,
that sounds great.
But then he.
Yeah, I think I would like that.
He does
have
devolve
to fake it
into
now.
just.
Now there's so much pressure. I'm gonna be like, I loved it.
It's fine. You cannot. You can't hurt me, Jamie.
Okay.
I have a suit of armor on, and I love these movies.
You heard it here
I have to come to my own conclusions. Like RoboCop's a bastard, you know. Freddy is also a bastard. I'll make that clear. Yeah. He's not a good guy.
Sure.
But god damn it, he's just laying out those puns, man. He's just really coming up with some creative kills. Yeah. He's the dad of the slashers.
Okay, so those are the 3 we need to watch. I want a fucking break from slashers, and we only watched 1.
1, yeah.
2 with Alien.
That doesn't count. You don't get that.
Okay.
Let me see. We covered. Yeah, look at that. Criticizing suburbia. You're already nailing it.
Oh my god, I'm so smart.
There's post-Vietnam analysis too of it.
Wait, I want to hear about that.
It's just again like people coming home and being like different after the war,
that's
and like
very interesting.
Being able to face those kind of horrors, and then like this like generation coming up after that.
Yeah.
Who don't like really relate to it, understand.
Yeah.
That kind of horror.
Yeah,
violence.
Absolutely. Well, like expecting people to go see all that shit and then come back and just be a person in this stinky town. That makes sense to me.
That's all in all the slasher movies. It's like us trying to like being able to understand what they saw. To the point where like Tom Savini is like a huge special effects artist. He worked on Friday the 13th. Was a Vietnam War photographer.
Oof.
And so was like pretty much replicating what he saw and chewed the kills of the movies.
Oh my god. That's something we didn't talk about in the violence episode that I think we should have, like culpability wise, because we were like, okay, it's not a moral act because it's fictional, but someone had to make it off of something. And it's something I didn't talk about in that episode, and I should have. But it's the Mortal Kombat games.
Mortal Kombat.
Is that something from there? Okay, I've never played them. One of the developers has diagnosed PTSD from that job and had to quit. I know we've talked about this before. Because they had to watch footage, like snuff footage all day of people being like killed and like animals being killed and like dismemberment. So like that's it just made me think of that. Like it is fictional, but it does come from somewhere. So as long as it's being made ethically, like that guy is just reflecting back on his experiences as a person. And I wouldn't say war is an ethically sourced sense of violence, but it's still like not like seeking out that. So I think it's just something to think about. Like, it sounds dumb. It's like ethically sourced violence images to draw off of. It sounds very stupid, but you know the concept I'm saying, right? Like, that makes sense that that's where it's coming from.
It's pretty much like people who are making it who are like dealing with what they probably saw, specifically with Tom Savini, not maybe some of these other people.
Yeah, that's just,
on top of people trying to like relate to like what their parents or dad probably saw.
Yeah. So you think that the point of view is the next generation? So like the young people trying to understand horrible things, or who do you think the audience is?
I think that might be like the audience, like subconsciously doing that and like eating it up. I think maybe, I think it is like pretty much where it starts off and where it ends up is completely different, because what's happening is that maybe they're making these movies to like, I think that's why Halloween's really fascinating, because it's trying to say so many things.
Yes.
But then after that, everything's just trying to be Halloween. They're not trying to say stuff. They're just trying to be Halloween.
That makes sense.
And so then that's where special effects start to ramp up too. Yeah. Because then it's like, all right, you did that.
Yeah, we could have made this fucking movie if we had two houses.
Yeah, we could have.
Teens.
Oh yeah, easy. We
could have made this movie. Yeah. Not to say that it was like poorly crafted, but there was nothing like exceptional about it.
Right.
Like, well, that's, you know what I mean. Nothing exceptional tech-wise.
There's nothing that would have been like obscene to do.
Yes.
Where it's like, holy shit, how'd they do that?
Yes.
But then you get into these other slasher movies and they get more and more creative kills, and then so it's just like everything's just like trying to outdo each other, and then it becomes a craft, and then it becomes these filmmakers.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have an easier time watching those than this one. This one was just like fate for fate's sake. Like, you have been fated, you're done. You're doomed. You're never gonna be able to unsee it. I have like, it's really, I think the reason I didn't like watching this, so I have like, it's like a yearly reoccurring dream, but I have a dream that I am going to be like killed, but I'm going to be like put to death, like essentially on death row. And it's like that feeling of like grief and dread of like, I am going to die soon, and you know it's going to happen. And I've obviously never experienced that, but it feels like so real in the dream, and it's happened to me like multiple times. It's not like a frequent dream, but it, like when it happens, I'm like, oh, it happened. Whatever that means. So I don't know if that's like, but that feeling of like the dread of knowing death is inevitable, which I mean, it is for us all, but like soon, death is inevitable soon is the problem. Not like death as a concept, like death is happening like within the next hour. Yeah. And I think that's why I didn't like it. Because that really freaks me out as a concept.
That's great.
That's great!
No, but like, it's cool that you were able to like figure that out in the movie, being able to do it effectively still. Yeah. But it's just like tragic that it happens to be something you do not want to experience.
I mean, why would I want to?
I don't, there's just like something, it's like, again, it's just what spooks. It's supposed to spook you, not traumatize you.
I see. I'm not traumatized, but I think fear versus dread is important. And like, I think we have enough dread going on right now, you know? It's like the slog of dread.
And I think that's why like a lot, you maybe registered with more of these more fantastical movies like Aliens in Space or Spooky Ghosts, because it's just so disconnected from like having to deal with real world stuff.
Yeah, I guess this was.
And this is just so. Like, well, there's a dude out there who's probably gonna like stab you to death.
This movie did feel like a slog. It felt super long. It's just like, Jesus, when is it over? I just wanted to fucking just get it over with, you know? So I think that ties back to that. That also, like, not to shoehorn it into the pandemic all the time, but it's just, when something bad is going to happen, it just feels, what was that reaction? Okay, we're not talking about the pandemic. Goes, just like a string of incomprehensible sounds. It's just feeling like something bad is going to happen. I read on Reddit about someone's boyfriend dying in the night. Their boyfriend just died. Just, that can happen. People can just die. And they woke up and their boyfriend was dead. He had like no other health problems. He just died. And they're like, what do I do? First of all, asking Reddit that, Reddit can't help you, bud.
No.
But also, like, I've been super worried Mikey's just gonna die. Like, he's just gonna die, and then I can't do anything about it, and it's, like, all I'm thinking about before I go to sleep. So it's just, like, I'm just like, oh, he's just gonna die. Like, he's gonna die. So that, like, is similar. I feel like that's similar energy to this a little bit. Just, like, the, you know.
It's I think it's the same thing of just, like, because you just don't know, like, there's so many things that can happen every moment and every day.
Yeah.
Where you could just wake up the next day and your boyfriend's dead. You could just wake up the next day and you have an inoperable brain tumor.
Yeah.
And, like, there's something, like, it's so nice to, like, then think about, like be like, oh man, maybe some dude in a Captain Kirk mask might kill me. Like, that's so much, like, that's like a relief to me. Wow,
like, that's so weird. That's
the more I listen to, because I've been listening to, like, Switchblade Sister, shout out, and then also listening to In Myers We Trust and Halloween Unmasked, listening to all these people talk about Halloween and like being fans of horror, is like a lot of these people who are talking about liking horror movies are anxious people.
Yeah,
or people who like have a lot of like anxieties and stuff like that, and like, hey, it's me, but
it's me, your boy.
But like, it's true. It's like, it's so true. Like, it's like such a weird relief of just being like, okay, that's something fictional to be worried about.
That's not what
happen.
That's how it feels, but not this. Didn't feel that way for me at all. If this was like the concentrated form of that dread, but not in a way that's like.
You had talked about, though, before, too, with, like, Stranger Things, being able to, like, you, like, take... You do a lot of the leg work almost for it, where it's, like, you put it back onto yourself.
Yep.
And internalize it and turn it into your own fear.
Yeah.
Like, the movie is just portraying, like, it is saying, at, like, its core, this inevitable fate, fear thing. Mm-hmm. But on the surface, it's Michael Myers is coming for you. But you're like, Michael Myers, that's terrifying. But fate, that's even worse. Anybody could die at any moment. And then it's, like, that's... I think that it's... interesting way to watch it.
I think something too, like you're talking about like anything random could kill you, because I was in the hospital last year. Like if I had waited like an hour longer, I probably would have died to like go. I went to the Minute Clinic and I was like, I think I have pneumonia, and she's like, bitch, you go to the hospital, and I was like, what? So thanks, Minute Clinic lady. But I like big almost died. Everyone was like, yikes. Like every doctor I talked to was like, yikes. And so like the whole year after that was like me reckoning with that and being like, I was in the hospital and I was like, I've spent my whole young adulthood like being sad. I was like, what the fuck have I even done? I haven't gotten to do all the stuff I want to do. And like I spent that whole time in school. I had just graduated. This happened May of last year, and I'd just been like working a job for 6 months for the first time. I graduated in December. And then I spent like all of last year reckoning with that, and then fucking COVID happens. And I feel like I finally had it settled. A little bit. Like in the new year, I was like, okay, I've like thought about this, I figured it out, I'm like doing things, I'm getting married this next year, like I have, you know, all these things that make my life worth it, like I'm going after things I want, I'm going after a new job, like all this stuff, you know, and then like fucking COVID happens. It's just, it's like now a global pandemic, and now you don't think about you dying, you think about everyone dying all the time. And so it's funny. I'm like, that was my problem, like all my problems, and even though that's a pretty significant problem to have to grapple with, like your own mortality, now it's like, it's not your mortality, it's everyone's mortality, everyone you've ever known, all of their mortality. So it's like, yeah, I'd like a break from all of that.
And that's where...
And these movies happen a little bit, but not this one.
Not this one.
Not this one.
It's good.
Yeah, I think I like, we like rules. I like rules or no rules.
Yeah. I don't like
fancy-pantsy in the middle rules.
This movie almost has both simultaneously. Yeah,
it's like the rule is that he's inevitable.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that.
Michael!
Michael!
You're Dr. Loomis. You're running around.
Mike Meyers!
I don't know if you guys can't see it because this is an audio podcast, but slowly Jaime has been growing a goatee.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
And balding, and then growing a trench coat.
Mikey talks all the time about malding, which is you get so mad you start going bald. That's me watching this movie. I've just been malding the whole time. Yeah. I'm glad... Honestly, halfway through that movie, I wanted to turn it off a little bit. I kind of wanted to stop watching it. And then I was like, no, I'm just going to sit through it. And I'm glad I did, because I'm glad we were able to talk about it.
This is a movie that I kind of had a feeling we would have to, like, persevere through. Because I'm like, like we keep on talking about slashers. I'm like, we have to watch Halloween. But every time I brought up Halloween to you, I'm like, she's not into the idea of Halloween.
It's not out of, it wasn't, before I just thought it would kind of be boring.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, not super, nothing about it was like, ooh, you
right.
know. But then now I'm like, nah, just like, no. Yeah.
Great. Glad to change your mind.
Oh, yeah.
From to That's what Horrorscope is here for. That's what we can provide for you.
Oh my gosh. So like rating this, I would give it on scares, I'd give it like the more we talk about it, the scarier I think it was a little bit. Like a 3.5. Okay.
Wow, that's high.
Yeah, I mean it did the thing that we talked about. We both really like the background scares and like the sense of he's just there. Like, the inevitability of it all would almost bump it up to a 4, but I don't think it was that.
It's weird.
I did never jump. I jumped once, but it was like a fake jump scare.
People love to break this movie down, and I do too, of just being like, how does he drive a car? It's ridiculous. But it's like, it almost
it's like, of course he can drive a car because he needs to get to you.
But it's like,
so yes, he can drive.
If you wanted to like really break it down, it's like, wow, okay, so he stood in a bush, then ran away, and then he's just standing in the window, and then he's just moving to this door. Like, when you think about it literally, you're like, this is dumb. Like, this
I know you were
dumb.
trying to help me do that. I felt like throughout it, you're like, look at him, he's just in a bush, and then he has to run away really fast, and I was still just like, like just not.
Because it's like, it's funny, but like it's like it does. But then on your side, it does such a good job because he's just like always there. And when it becomes like not so literal that he is this force of nature, I think the movie like that's where it excels. But sorry, what would you rate the movie?
I don't see. I struggle with these ratings because
so
far it's been gut reaction.
I want your I want your rating. I don't want you to be like, this movie's a 5 because people like this movie. I want
good.
Jamie
2.
Okay.
I give it a 2. Are you ready? Do you have these in a spreadsheet?
I created a letterbox, which is where you can like log movies.
Okay.
And so I've been rating them there.
Based on that?
Based on what you
My visceral reaction, I give it a 2. I did not enjoy watching it.
All right. I'm like making like a formula in my head of like what's a good Jamie movie.
It doesn't. I mean, we have to watch all of them, so it's not even like a good movie. But
just so I can prepare myself.
I see for the
heartbreak.
Have a film you're dying to talk about? Find us on social media and let us know what you think. We're on Instagram at Horrorscope Pod and Twitter at Horrorscope Pod with 2 Ds. If you're enjoying the show, subscribe and leave us a review. Everything helps and we really appreciate it. Your horoscope for the day is: today is a great day to stop looking over your shoulder. It's nothing. No, really.